I'm ChosenArchitect, and this is FTB Skies 2. Now back with some more FTB Skies. We have another wandering trader here, and I think this is going to be very helpful for today. I need you, sir, to get down here. Can you please step on down? Please? Let me just jetpack up here, right? I need to grab some more skystone off of you, I think. Because today we are going to be diving into our first major storage mod. And yes, I've kind of made a decision, and it may be a poor decision, and I know some of you may disagree, but the last few series I've done has been nothing but applied energistics, and it doesn't mean that we won't necessarily step into applied energistics throughout this pack, as I think it's actually going to be required for us to do anyways. But I do want to start off, I think, with refined storage and play around with some of the new features of refined storage too. Don't get me wrong, like I mentioned last episode when we got our Certus quartz set up, which might seem kind of odd that we're getting into applied energistics but not actually getting into applied energistics, but we needed this so that we can make more of these growth accelerators, and those are going to be incredibly helpful for us down the road. But I also need to use some applied energistics crafting mechanics to get refined storage up and running, as odd as that may sound. But by the end of today's episode, I'm hoping that I have myself a direct connection to this item vault, and that way I can have things like the chargers and stuff like that still working with refined storage. And it does look like some things were changed in the pack to make refined storage work a little bit better, because I know some people were complaining about a few things. For example, the controllers only supported 1,000 total buffered power. Well, now it holds 10,000, which I think was recently changed, which is hopefully going to help. This is what I remember other mod packs having it set to, so that way you could actually support things like the network transceiver and receiver and having more than just one of them. Okay, now I'm getting ahead of myself. I actually need to get skystone produced. I know, what a tangent we're jumping into, but the machine casing, which is required for everything in refined storage, is going to require sky steel ingots. Which is an interesting recipe considering this is from megacells and is required here for progressing into the casings. So we are going to have to drop some quartz enriched iron, because I really don't want to waste Certus quartz. I would not want to do that recipe. I want to instead dip this into the lava with skystone. But skystone's from AE, and there's really only a few ways to get it. Within base AE, you can, well, put an annihilation plane all the way up at build height and power that thing, and it will actually give you skystone dust. But what we actually need to do here, because we have extractors, is just set up another skystone extractor. And given this recipe right here, I believe that we can definitely generate some skystone dust, which is going to be needed to make the skystone blocks. And I think this will work. Well, I mean, if I didn't turn my lava into obsidian directly, that was a poor decision. I mean, I should have seen that one coming, but there we go. Now I just need to slap on like a barrel for now, and perfect. We have skystone automated, which is going to be very helpful when we go to set up all of the required ingredients for the refined storage system. Now, another major component for the refined storage stuff and getting all of the processors made up is going to be processor binding, which requires string, which we have down pat. That's pretty easy to get. But what we actually need a lot more of is slime balls. And it looks like we can go a few different routes. I think regular slime, though, might be the easiest for us to obtain, considering we already have this recipe like ready to go. We can make this quite easily. But we also got pretty lucky. And I mean, just for getting started, we can probably use, like, I don't know, our gateway pearl here for the swampwood shadows. I think that was one, right? Let's see. This one summons 5 slimes. And we have like a multiple, like, so it looks like 5 slimes here, slime here. And then we also have the bogged at the end and 5 zombies. Like, they all have some, you know, bonuses. But yeah, it summons a bunch of frogs, which is kind of funny. Can we actually make this gateway pearl too? Like, I don't know if this is one. It looks like we can make it. Oh, it's a quest reward for clay. No, this is the only one we get. But I mean, there is a gateway for a slimy invasion. This is one we can craft. Okay, so that's not actually too bad. And the mushroom we can craft with essence that we fished up. So I mean, crafting up this is good to know. That means I can actually summon one in as well later. But I mean, there's got to be what could possibly go wrong? Like, honestly, I have everything I need. So when these spawn in, they should just spawn in like some normal slimes, right? Yeah. It's, I mean, no biggie here. You know, they're just normal slimes, and it's gonna drop a ton of different slime balls for us. I don't have looting or anything, but we can always make more of these. And that's just wave 1. And we should also get, yes. Oh, no, don't stop triggering my stuff. We should also get like loot drops after some of the waves. And we're also leveling up our skill tree. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I died. I don't know if all of them have to disappear before the event ends, but I think I've got my hands on a lot of slime. Oh my gosh, the thorns are the worst. Why does everything have a thorn? Oh. Okay, I think I found the big slime. Yeah, it was hiding, apparently. And yeah, if you need slime, just make yourself one of those pearls, and you'll end up with more slime and slime essence than you'll probably ever need. By the way, we can actually level up our relic. There we go. Now, as I was farming up some string, I noticed something. I turned this into a silent gear hoe, and even after it is fully broken, it still lets you work to grow. You know what? I'm fine with that. Now, I think I can make myself some cardboard boxes. If I use the forge hammer, for example, I can make some sawdust because I need to actually get some copper going. So I'm actually going to encase this so I can pick it up, and we can store this for later. That should have went in here. Yes, and we can actually see what's inside the cardboard box, which gives it a little bit of a nice way to be able to pick these up. But yes, refined storage is going to now use copper, which is kind of interesting. Because before we didn't actually have this recipe, so this is kind of new. To be able to make things like cables, we need this quartzed enriched copper, which is a very similar recipe to how you actually make the regular quartz enriched iron armor, or iron, wow, quartzed enriched iron, not armor. Wow, my brain is braining today. So now that that's up, that should automatically be harvesting as well. Now, I know some of you guys said, why don't you put a pickaxe in here? And I should definitely do that. I think we can make like literally 4 pickaxes, and I don't know if it uses durability on those pickaxes instead of it holding this, and it should give us a bonus, or at least you guys have mentioned that in the comments. I'm going to give that a shot. Instead, have it with a pickaxe being right-clicked. And hopefully it doesn't consume any durability on here. I know it didn't seem like it was consuming it on this, so we'll have to see. I mean, if anything, it'll be really easy to fix them. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get a bit of this crafted up. And I think we have enough resources to literally progress through most of refined storage. And it's so easy to do that we can get it all done and possibly get auto crafting all set up today. Now we are going to need to make sky steel, and it's one of these and one of these, and then we step back and hopefully it doesn't burn whenever it's finished. And perfect. Nice. So that means I could definitely toss all of this and this in here, and yeah, it shouldn't burn up. That's exactly what I want to see. I don't want to accidentally throw the wrong thing in there, but yes, this should all finish up. Perfect. And not burn. And beautiful. Look at that. All that sky still. And then also changed in this pack for the machine casing is the need for industrial foregoing cores. Which is what you would use to kind of get started with industrial foregoing, which, I mean, I'm not saying that I shouldn't do that, but I don't want to get into that mod just yet. However, latex wouldn't be very far away from just getting this set up. And here we go. This is why using something like this storage right here makes it a little easier to craft up all of these individual components. You don't have to worry too much about all of the micromanaging of all of the different stuff, and that's why I tend to like to set up at least some sort of early crafting solution. So there we go. So we got all of that stuff, and we got a box of goodies, and we got a refined storage cable. I mean, honestly, you can't beat that. Now, we do need a controller, and we are also now going to need power for our refined storage system. So we also got to figure out a solution to power, but I don't think that's going to be that big of an issue. And that's because I kind of hung out a little bit over on the Discord, and we kind of went through some of the best early game power solutions. And I think one of the best actually is going to be iron furnaces. And I know you're like, wait, what do you mean iron furnaces? Like, that's not a generator mod. Or is it? Oh, but contrary, it is 100% a power generation mod, and has the ability to generate quite a bit of power from some of the resources that we generate, seemingly infinitely. Now, at this point, we don't have the ability to dive fully into it to be able to get the netherite stuff because I don't have osmium just yet. However, I am going to work on that after we get the refined storage up and running. But I think we can get at least to the highest crystal tier of generators from iron furnaces. And we got to go all the way up to this. And you'll notice the tick time. I mean, I guess we could go up to emerald and then just kind of leave it until we get to netherite. But netherite's where the power really starts to shine. You can see the cook time goes to 5 from 40. But I mean, even honestly at the emerald tier, it is still going to generate quite enough power for our refined storage system. So how are we going to set this up to actually generate? Well, let me go ahead and get all the way up to this. You can see the recipe just increasingly goes up and requires a few diamonds and so on and so forth all the way up to emerald. But after getting yourself to the emerald furnace, well, this is where we're going to need a few of the upgrades. So to get started, we need, of course, the generator upgrade. That's really important, right? We have to have the ability to generate power, and so this is what's going to augment this to convert it into a coal burning generator. But I think what's really going to set this off and make it worthwhile is the augment for blasting, which allows you to use the generator in a different way. So you can see there's different generator recipes. You have a smoking recipe, which turns it into a food-based generator, which can generate power based on the food that it is burning. You also have the regular generator, which anything that is burnable can be smelted and turned into power. And then you have the blasting one, which can do crystal-like resources. And this is very, very similar to how like classic, what was it? The lapidary dynamo, I think it was, like, yeah, from good old thermal. It's like very similar to that, but the higher the tier of furnace, the faster it can actually generate that power. And the more we look at the power that things generate, we'll notice that diamond is on this list, and 500,000 RF is what diamonds can generate. And of course, nether stars can generate a lot as well. And like I said, it's all based on the rate. Even netherite, which at this point, after looking at all of this, I mean, diamonds are one of the easiest things for us to use to generate power with. So now with the power idea sort of figured out, we're going to have to start smelting a few things. For one, silicon has got to get started, and thankfully we have this recipe for it, which is just simply smelting quartz. And with that, we can start making some processors. And I think early on, something that you can do to get started here is making about 32 of these processors here. So of the iron version, we'll make 32 of those. Only make about 8 of the advanced, and then use the rest of your stack to make the improved processors, which is gold. So we end up with a 32, 24, and 8 split right here. I mean, in my experience, this is going to be a good enough amount to get you really started with this. After all the processors are made, it's now time, I think, to really start to craft things. We are only going to need one controller. That is what's going to be powered and handles everything. And on the new refined storage, by the way, we can actually have multiple controllers, and there's a lot of cool things that we can do with having like split networks, which is stuff that we might get into later on. But yeah, we could potentially have a network that is still pulling from the items of the main network that's powered separately. There's all kinds of cool things. But here we go. And the first thing that I want to rush to after getting the controller, it's definitely the crafting grid, and then we can get ourselves an external storage. As soon as we have that, we can actually move away from using this create setup and instead use refined storage, which is going to be much, much nicer as the crafting grid is built in and we don't have to pull the items out of an external inventory and then go and do all of that craziness. Oh, how we are so close. I just got the grid crafting up, and now we've got to make ourselves the upgraded version, which uses that advanced processor for a crafting grid. And while I was at it, I decided to go ahead and make the external storage, which we're going to want as well. I should probably also check and see what we get from our quest rewards here, because sometimes you can get some really good stuff. Looks like more processors. Ooh, some binding as well. All kinds of goodies. But this is it. All we have now is to craft the crafting grid. The crafting grid. Crafting grid? Really? That's what it's called now? All right. So yeah, we just have to make the crafting grid. I don't know what I was looking at earlier. But there we go. Crafting grid now done. And we could technically start to get rid of this, but I do want to pull out some diamonds because we are going to need those diamonds to power our controller. And I could easily set this up if need be again, but for right now, I'm removing all access to this storage. And that's because to set this up, we just need our crafting grid. We need our controller. We can put that on top. And then on the bottom, we can have our external storage connected directly into the item vault like so. And then we just need to put our generator on the top. And so Emerald Furnace, go. And yeah, we can actually right click these directly on, or what you could do is you can also click the augments button and you can see there are some upgrade slots here. Little bit of a tip, if you put a upgrade in this middle slot, it's either going to be an efficiency, which is going to make the fuel burn less effectively, but it's going to last longer, or you can put in the speed one, which is going to give you less power for your product, but give you more power output during that time. So it'll like be more RF per tick technically, but less RF overall. But yes, this converts this into a generator that is going to generate plenty of power as soon as we put diamonds in here. And you notice that has already filled up with the 10,000, and then this thing is going to fill up. It's a million buffer. So good. And look at this. We have really just simplified our storage. Now that I'm in here, there are several things that I personally like to change that you may also like as well. We have the synchronization mode, which I do like to have it set to JEI synchronized two-way, which means when I search in here, it pulls up the searching ingredients. And if I choose to search down here, it also will search into the crafting grid. I really like that mode. And then I like my sorting type set to quantity, how much of something we have in our inventory. And I usually like it set to descending so we can see what we have the most of in our storage. And that's just my personal preferences. But that's basically it. I mean, there's nothing else I really have to worry about too much. You can control this grid with redstone, so you can choose to turn it on and off if you wanted to be cautious of how much power you are using, but I think we're gonna be pretty good here. Like, this is not gonna be, I think, that big of an issue. And we are still using the same inventory that we were using before, but now when I craft, I don't have to leave the menu. I can just simply do it from right in here. Now, this is something I wanted to test while the pocket generator is running. Can we access the grid? Oh, we can. And so long are the days of those weird crashes. I still don't really know why that was doing that. But man, I have been playing with Create and that storage so much that I have forgotten how to use grids like these. I almost closed out of this menu whenever I crafted this. But yes, I can just make patterns immediately out of the grid. And if it's in our inventory, it also counts towards this. So now, for example, crafting another grid is so fast. Oh man, how I miss being able to do this. And now I can craft up, for example, a pattern grid, which is going to allow us to get started with auto crafting technically, because really to get started with auto crafting in this mod, you need a pattern grid, you just need a pattern, and you need a few of these auto crafters. And not just these regular auto crafters, which I do want, right? I do want these auto crafters. We can upgrade them immediately. Like, we have this extra storage mod in here, so we have an iron auto crafter, and that goes from like having only 9 auto crafting pattern slots to having, I think, significantly more, 27 pattern slots. It's a lot. And then you go up to this, and yeah, if we were to craft this, which I mean, it looks like a really easy recipe, right? We can just simply make these raw neural processors and make it even larger. But it's going to be so worth it, like having these upgraded auto crafters all the way up into diamond tier right from the start. Oh, this is great. I mean, this is 63 pattern slots with a base crafting speed. Now, it does come at an increased cost of power, and it does seem like the Emerald generator is still able to keep up. So now, while this right here is set up as a diamond auto crafter, I mean, we do need a regular crafter, I think, to get over here. Then we can have smelting automated, and then everything can become automated really fast. Before we get into processing, though, let's talk a little bit about how this works, because these things now can do everything that Applied Energistics is able to do. They can now do stonecutter patterns and also smithing template auto crafts, all from the crafter. It's great. Well, auto crafter. Now, processing stuff is what we're actually going to want, because to be able to make these, well, we need glass, which means sand needs to go in here. And then the regular quartz enriched iron, I mean, that's just a very simple recipe. So let's start by automating this. So this is going to be our first pattern, just simply making quartz enriched iron. We build the pattern and we just simply stick it in here. And that's it. So now if I want some of that, we can do @refined, and notice there's a crafting recipe. I can just go, I want 4 of those. Start that for me, please. And it's instantly crafted up. Like that's it. It's so much easier. Now we've got to worry about how do we smelt stuff. So I can make glass from here. So to do the glass, I'm going to need an importer to send the stuff into our storage. We need to import things. Everything's from the perspective of refined storage. And then we need a crafter up here to inject the crafting materials. And then we just need to simply run a cable, and we can run that probably under the ground here, and then run it up through the side and up through the back. Oh, and another nice thing while you're in an inventory like this, you can just hover over the items that you want to craft and, for example, hit R, and that pulls up the recipe. So you don't have to go searching for everything if you already have some in stock. You can quite literally hit R. And I love how there's just so much more information in the Refined Storage 2 mod. Like if you were ever struggling with this mod, you can now see so much more information about how things work. For example, Control plus to autocraft. So you can control click and it's going to automatically pull it up even if there are some inside, which has been something that I know people usually struggled with. How do I request craft something if I can't click on it? Well, you hold control and you're ready to go. And now I'm at the point where I just want to craft everything. So to help me run these cables, we have the personal shrinking device, which we can charge up by turning on our pocket generator and probably pulling this and putting it in my backpack so it charges this instead. And we can open up the menu here and we can set our shrink size. We don't want to go too far. I think like 80% is pretty good. And you hold down shift and right click and we can now fit inside of a single block space. Ah, this is wonderful. And also, did I just get dirt essence from literally just breaking dirt? Like you just passively get some? Is it in the drop pool? Wait, what? Oh man, this is peak modded Minecraft right here. Being able to just crawl down in a hole, place in your cables. Ah man, such good modded Minecraft right here. Now to finish up on our auto crafting, we need to have the crafter facing down into the barrel, just like you see here. And then I've got to run the power up to it. And then hope that I have enough power for everything to be able to handle all of that. I mean, I think we might. Now to make sure the items come back, there we go. We can't forget the importer. And right down here on our output is where that importer is going to go. And voila, we're tapped in. And it looks like we also just unlocked something in our shop. Now, unfortunately, though, I don't think facades are available yet for the refined storage, or at least I don't see any of the facades in here. But we do have other means of doing stuff like that. For example, we have copycat panels and things like that that we could probably use to at least hide it around. But yeah, for right now, I mean, there is just an ugly hole in the ground. Which, I mean, technically I could put the crafter down in here and we have the crafter down below. And we can use our wrench, for example, to rotate it through like this. Like it doesn't really matter what direction, just so long as it's here. I mean, that covers the hole up. Now, I also recommend getting yourself an auto crafting monitor. This is so that way you can actually shut off auto crafts if you happen to make something that doesn't actually work. But I think we almost have everything. It does seem like that is not powered over there, which makes me wonder, is it because of the orientation here? Yes. Okay, so this does have to be turned on its side in order for it to actually power the things over here. So now we're one step closer to actually crafting patterns. We do need glass, and now that we have glass, we have processing, and I think this is one of the best ways to get started with this early on. And so glass just simply needs to be sand smelted. And it looks like if we hold down, you see, click the amount to see alternatives, click to configure. Perfect. Okay, so we don't, I don't think we want this to be mixed, right? I think I just want it to be normal sand. I think by default, though, it might just be, yeah, I think it's just using default sand. Okay, but you could go through here and select tags to make the recipe utilize specific tags. But what I do want to do is I think increase the amount. So we could maybe have this do 32 at a time. And that is going to be a little bit easier to do, especially since the way that we are smelting this, right? It's going to be sent into here and then turned into glass. Perfect. Okay, so now if I need to make glass, we can control click this and I can say 10, start, and we should see sand flowing through here, I hope. And that's interesting. Okay, so this is why you make the auto crafting monitor, because that for some reason didn't work. It didn't actually send any of the sand. Oh, it 100% sent the sand, but I have a magnet on because I am a derp. So put that back in here, which it should work now. And then once it's finished, the importer will slowly start pulling the items in because, I mean, the importers are pretty slow without speed upgrades. And then once it has reached the amount, it will tell me. And nice, up in the top right, we did get a little toast saying, hey, 32 glass has been done. So now I can actually request the pattern. So with everything put together, we can say, hey, go ahead and craft this up. Now the fuzzy mode, we don't have to worry about, because I specifically want to use this type of glass, and I don't want it to kind of go a huge forged glass, which will allow any type of glass to work. But here we go. We'll request that. Now we have the ability. I can toss this down into here. There's also a manager that lets you see every single autocrafter on your network, and you can put the items in through that way too. But man, that is so easy to get started. And now I can say, hey, I want 10 patterns. And the 10 patterns are done. Quite literally, they're done. I can just put them over here now. Oh, that's nice. And now this means that I can auto craft growth accelerators. Yes, you heard me right. I now have the ability to actually start setting up automation for things utilizing this really simple network. And this is all without even touching the digital storage part of things. Like, I don't really have to use digital storage. I could just make more vaults and just simply attach more external storages on those said vaults and leave everything in this quote-unquote physical phase. But I doubt I'm going to stay with that for long because I really like to compact things, so getting things into digital storage wouldn't be a bad idea. And it's not that difficult to transfer items out of a digital storage, for example, like this, into a AE or anything like that in the future. There's ways of doing that, but that's something for another day. And so because of our ability to process glass, I mean, we now have the ability to make accelerators. And I mean, it's literally this good. Like I can go, okay, I want like 4 accelerators. It does all the crafts and there's 4 accelerators. Back to applied energistics, right? I'm going to need 4 of those too to power it all. And there's 4 of the resonant generators. Yeah, we're already at this point. So now after getting this set up, I think next episode, we really need to start focusing on getting a setup that allows us to automate these gears pretty quickly and also manage all of the items that they produce. And it does seem like the stone pickaxe is working and it doesn't use any durability in here. And I am generating quite a bit of these. I actually just processed a bunch just while I was working on this. And my goodness, that thing is full. Next episode, we will get started with that. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode and hopefully you learned something new, whether that was about how to get the refined storage 2 set up or how to do the auto crafting and processing from it, or even how to get power. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Give this video a huge thumbs up. And then of course, do not forget to leave a comment down below. Do you like this storage? Do you think it's better than applied energistics? I don't know. Which one do you like the best? Refined, applied? I would love to hear from you down in the comments below. We are going to be playing with both of them in this playthrough. I just want to make that very clear. It's probably going to be necessary. It seems like a weird thing to do, but I mean, that is something that we'll definitely take advantage of, because AE is still incredibly powerful. But it's now time to thank the amazing supporter of today's episode, and that is going to be a huge thanks going out to Harry the Botterpuss. Yes, thank you so much for your amazing support and choosing to support me over in the Discord by becoming a Discord premium member and supporting my content in one of the best ways possible. You absolute boss. I look forward to, of course, seeing you guys in the next one, and as always, thanks for watching.